In high school?
Yeah.
I started my high school days in Crockett, Texas. Crockett,
That's
Texas.
like the bigger place than Snow Hill and all that,
Well,
right?
Snow Hill was the rural community, and Crockett was the town.
Right.
And so after I got to be a certain age, I guess maybe 5 or 6, my folks bought a home in Crockett. And that's where I began going to grammar school and high school. So I went to, I guess you would call it high school and grammar school was mixed. So when I left there, I was only in about the 8th grade. So after I left there, we migrated to California.
Did you continue your education here?
I can used to go to high school that I graduated in 1946.
46. So you didn't go to war? Didn't have to. You were too young.
Just in between war. I was too young for the war, but I was in the Korean conflict.
Oh, did you go?
I served in the Korean conflict.
Did you fight?
I didn't go fighting.
Okay.
I stayed in the States all the time.
Okay. So then I guess it must have been shortly after that is when you started getting into the music.
Well, when we was in Alameda High School, my brother Roy, which is
Alameda next to Oakland.
Next to Oakland.
Okay.
That was where the neighbor's yard was.
Right.
And my folks, when they came to California, they started.
There's plenty of tape. Plenty of tape. Plenty of tape.
Now this man is telling me what not to do.
I'm interested in it. I don't care what he says.
Home, so we have to respect it, huh?
No.
So let me tell you about it.
Okay,
so
yeah.
My brother Roy and our close friend, which we adopted as our brother Tyrell.
Right.
Later we called him Ty Tyrell. We were all in Alameda High School. So we were about the only 3 blacks going to this particular school.
Really?
Right. Because it was all Caucasian or white, and we were the only blacks. So every time they would give something of a nightclub scene, they would put us in the nightclub scene as singers or dancers.
So you were stereotyped.
And then they said that we were good. So why don't you guys go to Hollywood? Why don't you get a trio? So we followed their advice, and we were...
The Rhythm Trio.
The Rhythm Trio was the first one. Then we went into other names like the A-Sharp Trio.
The A-Sharp, did you sing all your songs in A-Sharp?
Well, that's more or less, but that's a B flat or A-Sharp. And we started singing. So from there on, we started singing. We went to the place called the Barrel House of Watts. That's where we won our first talent contest with the Johnny Otis Band in 1949.
All right.
Who was with you then, Billy?
Well, we had Roy, my brother, and Ty Tyrell, which is my adopted brother. We were 3, and we won the talent show. After winning the talent show, we got a job there, and he was paying us $2 a week each.
$2 a week?
Right.
How many nights?
We worked 3 nights.
5 sets?
You do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
How many sets?
Well, you do about 3 sets each night.
All right.
And then you would go off, and then on Thursday night was the big talent show, and that's when all your celebrities of the black race would be there.
So what kind of stuff were you guys singing back then? Your own songs or other people's songs?
Well, no, at that time, we met up with a guy called Bobby Nunn.
Right.
And Bobby Nunn was working at the Barrel House at the time that we won the contest. So there was a group called the Ravens, which were very popular at that time. They had a guy who sang bass, his name was Rick. And so Johnny Otis, being the band leader, he asked us to let Bobby Nunn join the group, and then we do things as the Raven would do. Like Bobby do the lead bass, and we would do the oohs and the ahs, and that's what happened. That's how it started.
So the structure of the music back then was like the bass and the vocals, background vocals were like more like chords and instruments.
Right.
You know, like nowadays the music really plays the part.
Right. Then you only had a piano, bass, and a trumpet, and a saxophone, and a real stand-up bass.
So tell me, who played trumpet?
Trumpet in our group?
Yeah.
Well, Roy was
right, of course.
He started out in high school playing trumpet, so he had a little jazz band that he would play with in Alameda.
Was he the only brother to play an instrument?
I tried to play sax, but unsuccessfully I wasn't good. And Ty Tyrell tried to play bass, but Roy was pretty good at his craft.
Right. Okay.
And so after that incident at the Barrel House, there was a girl in Watts, which the Barrel House was located in Watts, California. A girl called Little Esther was working at a theater called the Largo Theater on 103rd Street.
And Little Esther is Little Esther Phillips, right?
Right.
Okay.
So she sounded more or less like Dinah Washington. And so, in that time, Dinah Washington was the top female vocalist of our time. And the Ravens was a good, group. So we took Lil Esther, put her with the Robins and Bobby Nunn, and we made our first race record, which stayed on the charts about 21 weeks.
Are this the Billboard charts?
It's the Billboard chart in the rock and roll. It was called Double Crossing Blues.
Double Crossing Blues.
Right.
Who wrote it?
That's the question. It hasn't been answered yet.
No, I want to know. You guys sang it. Who wrote it?
It's the question that hasn't been answered. Johnny Otis think he wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Bobby Nunn think he wrote it. I think I had a
So you guys just collaborated.
But it was just a thing in the studio. We had a recording.
You guys were just jamming.
No, let me tell the story.
Okay.
We was at a recording studio making records for Savoy Records. And Herman Levinsky was the owner of the Savoy Records, so he came. And in those days, you paid the studio so much per hour or minute, and you would get 3 hours in the studio, and the producer of the record company did not want you to go over those 3 hours, or you would suck. So we were waiting to hear a playback of something we thought was going to be a hit. And so while we were doing that, Bobby Nunn and Lil Esther Phillips was arguing, and he said, "You look like a lady bear." And he said they got lady bears out there, and went from one thing to another, and we just said, "Ooh, ah." That's how the record got made.
That was
the making of that record, which stayed on the charts for 20 weeks.
It sounds familiar, I mean, a lot of musicians go through that. You get a song and then somebody claims it's theirs, and it's really not.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't really know who's the writer of the song.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So
being paid anyway.
So then the Robins then got several record deals, like you said, that people just come and just give you guys record deals out the blue.
We had record companies to come and approach us, like Modern Records in those days was a race record company.
What do you mean by race? Black music?
Only black artists was on.
Right. Okay.
And you was only on the. You didn't on the pop chart. There was nothing called a black person on a pop chart. But the white artist could cover your record. You make the record tonight, it goes on the radio station, and maybe tomorrow night, Pat Boone, Elvis Presley, or any one of those kids would make it overnight and go pop, and then that cut the sales out of your record. So you had no record that you could use. Oh, what a lovely dog!
Get out of here, Max. Get out of here.
Max. So, in those days, that's how the record company, handle you.
So basically what you're saying is that you guys wrote the songs and the white kids did them and got paid and you guys didn't.
You got the right idea. We never received royalties. It was always in the back. He was always in the red. There was no royalties paid to black artists.
But the most of the time the white people would imitate the blacks, right?
Well, that started when Elvis Presley started, and we could have done the same thing on television as Elvis Presley, but as being black, you couldn't do those things.
Right.
So you had a guy called Ed Sullivan.
Okay.
Come on a Sunday evening, and that was like a household word. Ed Sullivan, you must watch him. And he got Elvis Presley on back in the days when the Hurly Gullies and Hound Dog was real popular by black groups. But you was not able to shake your body in public. So Elvis Presley done this on TV, and that started the whole thing going.
But you guys was doing that all along, huh? Shaking and baking?
But it was a law that you couldn't do it on the dance floor or in public.
You guys couldn't either?
No, not the singles. You would be fined $25. You were caught shaking your ass or shaking anything below your waist. On TV, if the camera picked it up, you were fined.
That's a shame, ain't it?
Well, it was a shame. It's still a shame, but that's life.
That's life, huh? So you guys continued to make a bunch of different records, and were you considered successful?
As a West Coast group, we were very successful.
Right.
One of the most popular of the vocal groups on the West Coast was the Robins.
Right.
After the Robins went and made several records, which was unsuccessful hits, but they were played by DJs, which were disc jockeys, we became the Coasters.
You were a coaster.
Original Coaster.
You were one of the original coasters.
Yes, the Coasters were
the West Coasters first.
Coasters because they were a coast group and they named it the Coasters, which was the Robins.
Right.
And each lead singer out of the Robins, which you had a lead singer, Grady Chapman. Carl Gardner was one of our lead singers. and Bobby Nunn was our bass lead singer. So rather than just use the talent, using one group, they called another group the Coasters. So that's after that, the Coasters and the Robins kind of split, and you made two groups out of the group.
So you guys, but did you ever perform as a coaster?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So then you basically were the real original, even though, who was the ones who recorded Yakety Yak, Charlie Brown, all that stuff?
Well, I was one of the original coasters that done these.
Were you on any of those sessions?
Yes.
All right. So you the man.
Well.
Why did you stop though? That's what I can't, what, too much for you?
Well, things change through, personalities change, different things happen. The money wasn't always there, so
your wife said, "Nah, you got to go get a real job."
I got a real job.
Oh man, that's a heck of a thing to do. So tell me this. Now you decide I'm gonna go from performing, being a big star, hairstyle, the whole thing, to dealing with something that's, you know, kind of touchy as far as a lot of people are concerned. You know,
mortuary business.
Mortuary business.
Just touchy about it. We just, you know,
Billy's on.
You stab them, we'll bury them. So funeral business must go on. You know, it's a good living.
It's a good living.
Yeah. So I've been there now for about 20 years.
Oh boy. Tell me about what you was talking about, AIDS.
AIDS is a big killer in this time. We're going to have to stop and have dinner, then we can continue at a later date if you like.
I tell him, I say, Uncle Robert, you want me to do the yard? No, you're just going to tear up my stuff.
How can you tear them up?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Irresponsible?
He said boats come all out of America.
It's a really hard terrain, though, you know what I mean?
James, you know this is the last of your dad's family.
I know that.
Sister, and myself, Ada, Robert. The last four.
Hey, Ada, boy, she's a trip.
Everybody always picking on me. Yes, here I'm going